Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Domo. Domo. Domo arigato, Mr.
Hey guys, FilmCrazyAdam here, and I'm about to go see the 2014 remake of Robocop! Yeah! And if you can't tell, I'm not looking forward to this. Because, alright, why did they remake this movie, okay, is my question. Alright, why did they remake this? If you don't know about the first Robocop movie, go download it right now. Just go download it right now, watch it, and then come back to this. Because that movie, it was very deep in terms of story. And it was just kind of groundbreaking for the time of the type of story and the amount of violence in a movie. But that aside, if you don't know, in a nutshell, the story of Robocop, the original Robocop, is he was a police officer that was killed in action on the job. His body was then taken by the police force, and then he was turned into a cyborg. Like his entire, almost, I think it was like 95% of his body was replaced with mechanical cybernetic components. And they wiped his mind, replaced it with a computer program, and he became this mindless automaton, the perfect police officer. No sympathy, knew all the rules by heart, so he was perfect in terms of a police officer, and he was invincible. But during the course of the movie, he starts to remember his past, and using detective skills that he has uploaded in his system, he finds out what happened to himself and all the people involved in it. And during the course of the movie, he regains his humanity. I mean, like I said, he lost it. He was dead. He was a mindless automaton machine. And then he regained, and this man that died and became this robot regains his humanity and like his understanding and like, you know, his memories. So it's kind of a deep story in that regard. Robocop 2 and Robocop 3, no, we're not talking about those. Those are crap. So with that movie, like, that movie was done perfectly in terms of story. Alright? It was a very good story. So, why did you remake it? Now, to be fair, I haven't seen the new one yet. Maybe they'll answer that question when I see the movie. Maybe this will be worth it. Maybe this is a new spin on that story, because, let's be honest. Alright? That I'm not going to see this movie. When I go see this movie, I don't want to see the 1980s Robocop with just better graphics and better effects. I don't want to see a carbon copy of the story. I'm hoping that they do something slightly different or a little bit different, but not like too different, where it's so different from the source material that the only thing in common with the source material is just the name Robocop. So, with that idea, I'm going in with an open mind. Like I said, I don't want to waste my time going to movies. I spend time and money at these movies. I don't want this to suck. I want this to be good. I want to come back in what's going to be for you 2 seconds and say, this is awesome. So, I'm going to go to the movies. I'll be back in 2 seconds. I'm back. Saw the movie. And before I talk about the movie, I'm going to preface by talking about the release date of this movie in relation to the rest of the Robocop franchise. Now, 1 and 2 were released during the summer blockbuster season. This was released on Valentine's Day in the middle of February. To me, that's very telling. It's a huge red flag that tells me that the producers of this movie say, we're not going to get our money back, or it's going to do very poorly. Because there's going to be a lot of good movies in the summer, or expected good action movies in the summer, which this one will not compare to. This one is not going to stand up to those ones. People are going to be disappointed. We're not even going to make bank if we release it in the summer. So our best chance is to release it in middle of winter, when there's less competition and there's less options to go to see things in the theater. So we know it's not going to do good. We have to release it because we sunk so much money into it. So let's put it out here, instead of during summer blockbuster season when a movie like this is supposed to come out. So, that was already floating in the back of my mind. I'm like, alright, there's a reason why they put it out now instead of in the summer. That being said, this movie wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It was a different take on the Robocop story. That much I agree. But there was a lot of stuff that just... I mean, just in terms of the movie structure itself, there's a lot of things that happened that didn't really make sense to me. Maybe I am just... Maybe I'm just not getting it. I'll be the first to admit it. Maybe I'm not getting it. I think I got it. Like the character of Samuel L. Jackson, who does this political talk show, he pops up like three or four times during the movie. Why is he there? Why is this talk show there that we keep hearkening back to? Like, he has no involvement whatsoever in the rest of the movie or with any of the characters. He has literally no bearing on the movie whatsoever. He talks to a few people online over Skype, but he has... What he says and what he does in the movie literally has no effect on anything else. He's just an exposition character, which, if you have an exposition character, that's bad writing. You're not a good writer. This is not going to be a good movie if we have to have a guy who just exposits facts to you. He pops up like 3 or 4 times, and all he does is just talk about things that could have been done in a voiceover at the beginning of the movie, or could have been worked into the movie through dialogue, and he doesn't really tell you anything that you don't already know. And he also kind of directs you into thinking a certain way. Instead of just, here, let the audience figure it out themselves. Like, we're going to tell you how this works, and we're going to tell you how you're supposed to think. Like, the movie starts out with him talking about this law, the Dreyfus Law, which there are robots. The company that makes robots has them all over the world, policing the world, and which is already a huge political statement. But the only place that doesn't have these robots is America, and so because there's a law in place, the Dreyfus Act, that says robots can't be law enforcers because they're mindless machines. They can't be held accountable for murdering a person or for shooting somebody. So there's a law in place, and the people want, they're not comfortable with robots here. So the entire movie is kind of slanted towards, like, we want this law repealed. It's like, why not just let the audience decide for themselves? I mean, ultimately the audience does decide for themselves, but you're really pushing them in a really hard in a certain direction. Oh man, what else? I also felt that the movie's called Robocop. Your main character, your title character, is a cyborg who doesn't show up until the 45-minute mark. They changed that character of Alex Murphy, which, that was cool. They made him more tough. He wasn't a rookie anymore. But he was always just angry in the movie. Backpedal on that. That's my opinion. It doesn't start getting interested until the 1 hour mark in the movie, when he actually becomes Robocop. You see the journey of him, where he gets shot. They're doing testing in a lab with him. I actually laughed out loud in the theaters when they never did this in the original or any version of Robocop, where they actually take apart the suit. He's standing there in the suit, and then he says to the doctor, he's like, "Show me." And then literally it disassembles around him, and there's nothing left but a head and a pair of lungs, and for some reason his right hand. Don't ask me why. But he still has, it's not the right arm with a hand on it. No, it is the head, lungs, and then a metal bar that attaches to, a hand. Which, I just laughed. I was like, what is this? You've literally stripped him of any dignity. He was this juggernaut. He was this metal automaton juggernaut that feels no pain, can, bend steel bars, and, he's invincible. And he's really just a floating head and a pair of lungs. You give this man back. You've already killed him. Give him back his dignity. Oh, I laughed at that. And then he's just too sleek. But again, opinion. What else? I felt that the title character, that's what I was getting to. I felt that the title character of Robocop kind of played second fiddle to his own movie. Alex Murphy becomes Robocop. You see his journey from man to machine, and then his training and what they do to program him and how they override the programming and make him more of an automaton. It's very different than the original, where he was a blank slate who eventually overcame his programming and gained back his humanity. This one, he's already got his humanity. He never loses it. They suppress it, and then the human brain overrides the programming and, you know, works its way around through dead zones in the brain to get back to how it was. To me, the coolest part of the movie was literally just the halfway point, about 20-30 minutes in, where he is full-on Robocop. Like, he is automaton, and he is efficient, and he is this just crime-busting machine. Nothing stands in his way. And we only get it for like 20 minutes out of like an hour and 40-minute movie where he's full-on Robocop. The rest of this movie is drama. Again, I said he plays second fiddle in his own movie because he does. He is a pawn in a political scheme, not a political scheme, but in his political power play. Like, he is just, like, we are more focused on Michael Keaton's character and, what's his name? Gary Oldman's character, way more than we're focused on Robocop. I mean, it changes, you know, we focus on each person more in different parts of the movie, but it's, I'm just babbling at this point because I'm just so annoyed at this point. Now, the more I think about it, the more annoyed I get about it. And, like, we see him solve, like, 1 or 2 crimes very quickly. Like, it's over, done. We saw him do that in the original movie. We get a sense of Robocop and his abilities. You know, they, instead of just summarizing them like, oh yeah, he's a better police officer, he's got targeting systems, and he can download stuff on the net through his head. They show it in the original movie. They show how efficient he is. They show what he can do. They do it a couple times, putting him in different scenarios. Armed robbery, bank robbery, hostage situation, criminals on the run. Like, they actually give you a feel of how good he is. This movie, like I said, they encompass all that he can do into like 20 minutes of an hour and 43-minute movie. So I felt cheated on that regard. Like, you thought that he could do a lot more, but you never see it. And it's so much less about Robocop and less about him, his character, and more about everything that's going on around him. And I will, you know, wrap this up and just say, maybe, again, maybe I'm just not getting it. You know, maybe that was the point of the movie. I just felt that the original was way better. It had a much better story, and they told it a lot better. This one, they were trying to cash in on a franchise. They didn't really encapsulate the story, the struggle of a man being turned into a machine. I mean, but you know what? Enough from that. This is one movie that actually I say, go check it out. It wasn't a terrible movie. It tried to do very good, but I just think it didn't, I think it failed. I think it was a B movie. So anyway, yeah, let me know what you think, but that's my thought, that it wasn't really that good, but worth a watch. Anyway, a quick update on things that are going to happen. I haven't done a lot of, I haven't finished my Man of Steel review, and I haven't done a new episode of Life with Ponies other than that special episode because, well, I'll show you in a second why, but, well, it's the weather. And that's why I haven't been getting the things done, because my job keeps me on the road, and when the roads are like that, it's hard to get home. So, anyway, I have busted my ass. Man of Steel will be coming out this weekend, and so will the Season 2 premiere of Life with Ponies. I promise you that. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.